Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. It's the 8th of December 2020, and we're going to be having a little bit of an exploration today, looking at the monoliths. Try saying that with a lisp. Monoliths, which have been appearing in different places around the world. There is a meat suit explanation for this, and there is a galactic explanation for this. And I am going to try to weave the two narratives together to bring an understanding of what may be going on with this. It's actually something that I didn't think I was going to do a video on, because to be perfectly honest, I looked at what was happening. I saw the one that showed up in Utah, saw the one that then transpired in Romania. I think there's another one that's appeared in California. There's one that's arrived in the Isle of Wight, quite near where I live in the UK, overnight, or quite close to me. And I was just thinking, this is just a bunch of artists trying to make some money for themselves. Now, it might well be that. We'll come to that in a moment. But I thought, oh, what the hell? I'll just tune in and see what I get. More for myself than anything. So I brought in the energy of Ashtar, Commander Ashtar, who I work with, and I was really surprised by the stream of consciousness and information that came in. And I was like, oh, okay, it's not a case of either or. Okay, that's the first thing to say. It's not a case of either or. So I'm going to bring in Ashtar. We're going to also bring in Archangel Metatron, who's always here with all of my work. We're also going to bring in David Bowie, because he's here as well and has something to say about this as well. But before we do any of that, should we just cover off the bases for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about? And equally, just to set on record the meat suit version of what's going on. By meat suit, I mean our human need to be able just to put something very neatly into a box and say, it's because of this, it's been done by this group of people. And even if that is the case, there are these other higher meanings behind why they're doing it anyway, and who is telling them to do it. Okay, that's what I mean about interweaving the two things. We're also going to have a discussion on art generally, and how art is about helping us to see higher and deeper than we can as human bodies. And it was really interesting because, as I say, I woke up this morning and I was getting all this information flooding in very unexpectedly. And then I just put up a notice on Facebook and Instagram that I was going to do it. And I thought I'll hold off reading what anybody's saying because I want to see what I can get myself. But I couldn't resist. I had a little peek at Facebook, and straight away the first few comments were all about, it's just a group of artists, as I say, which it may well be. And it completely shut down all of that flow that was coming in. And it was so interesting to me. So I haven't read any of the other stuff. I don't want to. I'll do it after I've made this video, or maybe at the end of this video. But you see, that's when Bowie came in, and he said to me, he said this. He said, what we fail to understand is that the human part of us is actually the smallest part of us. And he's talking about it from a soul perspective, which is that I've said this many times, that he was saying that we are all, and he said this in my channelings as well, we are all made up of stardust. Okay, so we're all star men and women, effectively. And our soul recognises all of the different fragments of who and what we've been in many different places around the galaxy. And even those of us that have come to Earth quite a few times, I would include myself in that, still that human part of that human energy is only 1/10, is what I'm hearing, of what you truly are. And he said, if you could only see how difficult it is for the soul to squeeze into its meat suit when it comes to Earth, to perform this journey, is what he's saying now, of having an incarnation on Earth. you would be amazed how contained you have to make the essence of who you are to be in a body that looks like this with skin and hair and bone, okay? And he was saying it's ironic that we do that. We compress ourselves to come into this incarnation, to feel what it is to be human, which in nature is about being smaller than we actually are. The whole journey of being a human being is to actually then rediscover that we are much more vast than we realise we are, and it's all within us. And so he says it's human nature when you're presented with something that's unusual, as in the case of these monoliths, or anything else, that you try and look at it through your meat suit eyes and through a smaller lens of understanding. Whereas actually there's a human way to answer it. You can look at with human eyes and get one answer, but then you can also look at something else and get another answer that has that reflects the bigger and wider energy that is actually what you are, what we all are. Okay, so I thought that was really interesting. He's showing me now, it's like a tube of toothpaste. He's saying it's almost like the you as a soul came into this human body, and it's as though you squeezed yourself into this tube to look a certain way, you know, as a human being. And then the journey back is actually like squeezing the paste out of the tube, and it can go anywhere. And it's so much more. And once it's released, it can just go, it can travel anywhere in the great universe. So thank you, Bowie, for that. I love that. Right. I've also got the Starman Tarot here, and I'm going to pull some of these cards maybe at some point as well to answer these questions. But let's now have a look at the monoliths. Let's firstly just bring you up to date with what's going on, in case you don't know. This is from The Independent today, a newspaper here in the UK. So it's just reporting that these monoliths have been popping up since November the 18th, my brother's birthday. Since November the 18th, where one was discovered. The first one that was discovered, I've just printed it out. You'll have seen these pictures, I'm sure, in the newspapers, was this one, okay, which was in Utah. So this is what they look like. Just very tall, shiny pillars. It's reporting several of these tall, shiny pillars have now been found at sites around the globe without warning or explanation since mid-November. The first one was that one in the Utah desert. This is really interesting. It says it was first discovered in the US when a helicopter crew flying over a remote part of a Utah desert counting sheep spotted a strange statue below. You see, straight away that takes me back to the shepherds and the story of Christ who were tending their flock and who then noticed the star. Interesting. Anyway, okay. So this one was discovered on the 18th of November, and then it disappeared on the 27th of November. Around the same time as that one vanished, another one turned up on the other side of the globe in Romania, which looked like this. It's got a slightly more mottled look to it, the one in Romania. And indeed, there are actually swirly patterns on it as well. It's got a different look. That structure disappeared several days afterwards as well. Then a new one appeared in California before it also vanished, this one. Then over the weekend, there's one that's cropped up, as I say, near me in the Isle of Wight. Haven't got a photograph of that. There was also, you know, a rather silly one. I'm sorry, but it did look silly. Have I got a photograph of it? No, I haven't. That appeared outside a £1 bargain basement shop. It's somewhere like Peterborough in the UK, which was obviously, you know, just somebody having a laugh. So I'm going to rule that one out, actually. So it says the structures have sparked comparisons with the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, where an alien monolith is a reoccurring symbol that appears to play a role in the development of human evolution. And then it goes on to talk about, it identifies some of the artists that it could have been, etc. I will give a shout out to one of the artists that they're saying the work seems to be inspired by, which is, gosh, I've suddenly got terrible heartburn. Oh, what is that about? John McCracken, who's dead now, but he was a minimalist artist based around New Mexico. And he died, but he did work like that. Sorry, hold on, I'm just getting a reaction to something here. What's going on with this? Got extreme heartburn all of a sudden. I don't actually know if I can carry on. Hold on. Let me pull a card. Why have I got this? What's this about? Ow. Oh God, let's just bring my Ashtar in. Oh God, sorry. Right. This is all part of. It's part of why these things are here. Right, the three cards that have fallen out of the deck. Okay, I understand the message. Can you please just take that feeling away now? Thank you. Sorry guys, can I just have a moment? These are the three cards linked into what I'm feeling here. This is like the heart of humanity. Oh my God, it hurts. This is the heart of humanity is what I'm feeling. And it's the Nine of Swords, which is us completely and utterly trapped in fear and negativity and worry. Illuminated by the sun. But then we've got the Star card, which is the card of healing. Humanity's heart, the heart of humanity is in a great deal of pain, and I think this might be tied into the 21st of December, solar flares and the return of the light. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to turn the camera off. I'll be back in a minute. Let me just sort myself out. Guys, I'm back. I'm so sorry about that. I'm not going to edit that bit out now because I actually feel I'm fine. But what just happened then is completely and utterly tied into why we need to be looking higher and deeper and evolving as a species. I'm going to try and tie this together. There's so many messages that I'm getting coming through, so please bear with me. I also don't want to scare anybody who's like newly awakened and watching me and thinking, what the hell is going on here? You know, why does she look like she's nearly having a heart attack? That's what it felt like. That is literally what it felt like, and I've got nothing wrong with my heart, so I can breathe again. Okay, let me explain what's going on. This is where we are at in terms of humanity. Before we can even start talking about the monoliths, I wasn't aware this was even going to happen. As a species, we are Nine of Swords. We are worried. There is a lot of stress, a lot of people fearing the future, okay? The Nine of Swords is a card of literally being up all night, worried, can't sleep, nightmares, etc. Then we've got the energy of the sun and the star, which are beautiful. Okay, the sun is highlighting the worries that we have, but the star is bringing the healing in that we need. But as I always say, to be able to heal something, you have to feel it. So I don't quite know why Spirit did that to me, but I had to feel humanity's pain there. And I'm telling you what, I don't ever want to feel that again. That was horrible. As I was just trying to get myself back together, I pulled some other cards from the Kim Cran's Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. And the first card that came out was this, which is the riddle. So you could say that the monoliths, of course, are the riddle. I also got the forest, which led me straight away to the fact that humanity, it's almost like we can't breathe at the moment. Okay, we can't breathe. Going back to the Nine of Swords. You know when you're in actual fear and you hold your breath? It's like that shock of like what's about to happen. That's where we are as a species. This is a call back to our true nature and to our magic and to healing and to manifestation. I then got the box that we have put ourselves into a box, like what Bowie was just trying to say about we've squeezed ourselves into this toothpaste tube, and we're not even allowing ourselves to show or demonstrate who we really are. All of the different fragments of ourself, we're all boxed in, and we've boxed ourselves in. We've got the card of the mirror, that we're being shown something about ourselves as a species. It strikes me that first monolith that appeared in Utah, you know, it's shiny, it's reflective, it's almost like a mirror. And okay, it's reflecting back to us this state that we are in, but equally the other side of the mirror is showing us that we can illuminate and transcend any box that we've put ourselves in as a species, okay? And that we can heal it. And the star card links into the age of Aquarius that we're moving into. I also got the spider's web, okay? Again, that we've put ourselves into we're caught up in the web. And then when that pain that I was in started to ease, it eased when I saw that card, this card, which is the card of the mother. Okay, which is Mother Earth, but it's equally new earth being birthed. It's also the pearl. You can only get to the pearl by going through challenging times. So new earth is being born out of the challenges that we're in now. Okay, so that's what all that was about. Should we try and get back on track now to what I was trying to actually talk about? These monoliths. Okay, gosh, what a strange morning it is so far. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to tell you what I was feeling when I tuned into these this morning. Let's just bring Ashtar back in. He says, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. Thank you. Right. Ashtar's saying that, you know, they have been watching us as a species with great concern as well. And it's to do with the pain that they can see in humanity's heart. And that pain, he's saying, is linked into yearning for a different way, yearning for something better, yearning for the ability to be able to transcend our own suffering and the box that we've put ourselves in, but not knowing how to do it, not knowing what the answer is. Looking to false idols, he's saying as well, to provide the answers which aren't there. He's now showing me a box that's empty, people having put their faith in certain things and it being found wanting. So there's just this empathy that I'm feeling where they have acknowledged the pain that we've all been in, okay, and the fact that we want something better. So what about these monoliths then? I mean, this is what triggered this whole discussion, Ashtar. What's going on here? Okay, let me just tell you the things that he told me earlier. The first thing I was shown, or he said, was they're a bit like they're the new crop circle. Now, what he means by that is there's something that it's a phenomenon which is not going to be easily explained away, but some people will try. He's saying that very much like crop circles, when they first appeared, the media was full of a couple of jokesters, you know, who supposedly had created them with a piece of string and a plank of wood. It is theoretically possible to make them out of a piece of string and a piece and some wood, and some of them can be made that way. But it was almost as though it was a very cheap way of being able to explain away a phenomenon whereby there were actually other things going on which are not easily explained. So there are fake crop circles and there are authentic crop circles. So this is meant to be something that makes humanity scratch its head and search for an answer. Even if it makes them stop momentarily in their tracks, he's saying, just for 1 second, it will have fulfilled its purpose. Now, the main message people have is, are these man-made or are they galactic? And again, what Ashtar is saying to me is it's not a case of either or. Let's go back to what Bowie was saying, the fact that you are so much more than a human being, that actually what you identify with in terms of bones, skin, hair, etc. as you, is your human identity. But that's only 1/10 of what you actually are. So there are artists that are behind this, is what I'm being told. But I'm also being told that they are like sleeper cells. Now, they might not realise that they are sleeper cells. Do you understand what a sleeper cell is? So a sleeper cell is basically somebody who can go through their whole life, pottering around, doing their work, doing great things, but within them is a dormant energy, a dormant deed, a dormant mission that they always were meant to do in this lifetime and will do in this lifetime. But what it takes is, for one, to use a galactic term, is the mothership switching them on to remind them to do it now, okay, to do it now. So if, for example, there are artists behind these, some of these, because I'm going way beyond the 5 that are already have been, found. There are going to be many more of these. So I'm taking it away just from the ones that we know now. So some of these are going to be created by artists. Some of them already have been created by artists. The origin of them, the spark of the idea, may very well come from the artist who creates it. But what created the spark within the artist is what I'm hearing, okay? What created the spark within the artist is their galactic energy. And the galactic mothership, for want of a better word, has switched on that dormant gene or desire or need or push or impetus to, not in this case, not pick up a paintbrush, but actually get to creating a structure such as what we're seeing now, plant it somewhere to make people think. They are intended to make you think. So are they galactic or are they man-made? They're both, because there is not a human being walking this planet that doesn't have galactic energy. And that's the non-sexy answer that nobody wants to hear, because people want to hear that it's actually, little green men that have turned up and planted them overnight. Whereas actually they don't want to hear that the little green man is actually inside of yourself, okay, because it is. My nose is itching, which is always my sign of confirmation. He was also talking to me about shape-shifting and our ability to... He said humankind is not ready to be able to see all of the different layers of anybody else, let alone themselves. He said if you truly wanted to, you could look into the mirror tonight and you could ask to be shown your galactic self. In the same way you could ask to be shown your angelic self. You could be asked to show your elemental self. You could be asked to see yourself in all your Pleiadian glory, or your Arcturian glory, or your Syrian glory, and you would look different. You would have a different quality about you. That's almost like base camp, is what he's saying. So, for example, you might see a different quality coming out of your eyes. Your skin might look more luminescent, for example. But he says there is actually a much higher version of that, where you can look into the mirror and you can change colour, you can change shape, you can change sex, you can change form. That's what shape-shifting is. You are all shapeshifters, is what he says. Okay, so, but most people are not ready to hear that, but some are, so say it. And he's like really, he's applauding the ones that are ready to hear it, because they have managed to squeeze out some of that essence that's been put into the meat suit and the tube and remember who they truly are. And to those people, it's not surprising to hear that. Why is that a surprise? If it's the first time you've heard something like that, but you're intrigued by it, feel into it, see if it resonates. As soon as he said it to me this morning, I was just like, yeah, I get that. I completely get that. I know that shape-shifting is possible. I know that I can do that. I know that you can do that. It's just that I choose to look this way and present myself this way, because that's what I meant. This is how I'm meant to be in this lifetime. But he's saying in future lifetimes, he's showing me hundreds of years hence, the ability to be able to shapeshift, and for it to be more commonplace and more understood. He's just shown me a tick, in terms of the experience of coming here to Earth. Will have transcended just being about looking a certain way, okay, which takes us way beyond sex. It takes us way beyond colour as well. It actually takes us into form. It's really interesting, actually. I'm being shown, the discussions that we rightfully have at the moment about racism and sexism. There will be I'm hearing there will be formism in the future. It's not in our lifetime, but then again, we might be coming back in a couple of 100 years or so to see this. It could be quite interesting. So it's almost as though people judging a certain form, that you look, your meat suit looks a certain way. And I'm not talking about being fat, being thin, being short, being any of that. I'm talking about literally looking like a human being versus looking like another type of being. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say, because your soul comes in and takes on a certain form, which is to look human in this lifetime. So, okay, he's saying use the comparison of Neanderthal man compared to what you look like now, okay? So, if you were to meet Neanderthal man today, and I'm being serious, literally a man who had to use his arms to walk as well as his legs, you would judge that, maybe, let's be honest, we might judge that, which is like, oh gosh, really, can't you, what are you doing, why are you covered in hair, and why are you walking like that, a human being looks like this, okay, whereas in a few hundred years time, I think it might be a bit more than that, but who knows, it's up to us to decide. A human being's going to look very different, okay? But there's going to be different forms of us coexisting on the planet at the same time. So hopefully if we've evolved high enough, there won't be that energy of judgment. Hopefully we can transcend that. But he's just giving me that as an example now, based on our current understanding and our current consciousness, as a way to try to understand the fact, shape-shifting and how it works, okay? He also brought up the thing to do with manifestation, but this is taking manifestation into a whole different realm, which is the fact that you can change not just yourself, but you can change an object or anything into something else. So what have I written down here? So you can change, I've written down, you can change a piece of rock or a piece or a chunk of air into something else. So in the same way that you can change, so can that other inanimate object, okay? Those of you that understand that, you know, you as a human being are actually able to change the weather if you look at it. I mean, these are advanced skills. So too, you can transform, you know, glass into something else, but it's via your mind and the power of manifestation. And it's about you becoming one with the thing that you're tuning into. So if I'm totally tuned into this glass, okay, and me and it become one, then we can interact in a way that changes the form of both of us. So this is like advanced alchemy. This is the magician times 1000, okay? But the thing is, it's within us. We are that magician times 1000. But again, we're only playing with 1,000th of our alchemy potential that we all have, okay? So why am I talking about all this? I thought you were going to be talking about monoliths, because this is what the monoliths are trying to teach us. They're trying to remind us that we are so much more than we think we are. So it doesn't matter who made them. It doesn't matter who carted them away. It's interesting to look at that. And if the artist has a particular message that they wanted to deliver via that, brilliant, let's hear it. But equally, let's hear what you think about it as well. Let it stimulate you, let it inspire you, as all great artists should. But remember that the artist is simply a tool of the divine, like anything else. And the divine will use the artist in a way to shake people up, wake people up, bring something out of them. Okay, so that's the first interpretation, or the first thing that I heard Ashtar saying this morning. I also heard the shard. I just need to look up the shard. Now, the shard, for those of you that don't live in the UK, is I think I'm right in saying it's our tallest structure. I'm just trying to look it up on my phone. It's a building in London that is made up, I think, all of glass. And I heard the shard. So let me just look up the shard, because this is also to do with, let me just see what it looks like. I'll show you the shard. Oh yeah, it does look it looks like a blinking monolith. Okay, I think you can get the shard, also referred to as the shard of glass. It's near London Bridge. Interesting, London Bridge again. Keep channeling about London Bridge. Okay, let's just show you an image of what it looks like. And then I'm going to ask Ashtar why he's talking about the shard. Look, that's the shard. Okay, in London. I'm sure other cities have similar buildings, but it's very beautiful. Okay, why are you talking about the shard? Let's just bring Ashtar in here. My ears are going straight away, and I'm being, it's literally, well, it would be the case if you were in the shard, because it's so high, your ears, if you're very sensitive like I am, would start to pop with, you know, because you're going higher in terms of altitude. So it's to do with going higher. They're representative of us as a species going higher. Again, the person that built the shard, the person that built the Empire State Building, you know, you can do a rational explanation for it. You can do a meat suit explanation for it. Oh, I just wanted to do X, Y, Z. It was about blah, blah, blah. But there is a symbolism behind these buildings, which is, it's almost like it's a call, it's a clarion call to mankind to go higher, okay? Spiritually higher is what I'm talking about. Okay, we don't have to live at ground level. What I mean by that, I'm not talking about physical, you know, where you live, although it could be. I'm talking about where your habitat 3D versus not 5D, not 7D, not 12D. I mean, it's going way beyond dimensions that we know. Are you operating at 3D? Are you operating at ground level? Is that where you want to, is that the habitat that you're comfortable with? Or shall we build something that is just way up in the clouds? That is, you know, you, with your mental mind, you're going to look at it and you're just going to think, wow, that looks beautiful, or maybe it doesn't, or whatever you think. But if you go into your heart and you go into your soul light, it's actually reminding you about something. Ashtar's saying in the same way that when you look at the pyramids, you can get into the nuts and bolts stories of the pyramids in terms of how they were built and the slaves and all of that. But equally, that's one level. But you can also look at the pyramids and it's like, again, they are these structures which just make you scratch your head, and you're not meant to really understand all of what they are about. They're a calling. They're a beacon. There's something that's there to, again, make you go deeper, make you go within, make you question, remind you that you don't know all the answers and you're not supposed to know all the answers. That's the journey of the soul coming into earth, that it's meant to learn. It's not meant to know everything. Okay, so whether it's a crop circle, whether it's the pyramids, whether it's these monoliths, stop getting bogged down at 3D level, which is that it's this artist that created it. They live in this place. This is what they look like. It's priced at whatever, if it ever came on the market. You know, that can be true at that level, but there are higher and higher levels to everything. And they are a calling to help humanity wake up from this heartache and this pain that I was feeling earlier on in this session, okay? Because we are literally almost like at breaking point in terms of our heart energy. We are crying out for a new paradigm, for a new way, for an evolution of the human species, which is as big as that from Neanderthal man to where we are now, okay? And, you know, as the sun hits my face, it just feels as though this dawn is near. This dawn is near. But you've got to believe it, and you've got to be able to keep your mind open and your heart open and not be closed down, okay, by all the rational stuff. That's what happened to me this morning when I went on Facebook, and I'm not meaning to judge anybody. I'm not judging you, but it was just like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. It's all the rational stuff. It's because of blah, blah, blah. And it stopped all of this train of energy that I was getting from Ashtar, which was just like, well, yeah, it is that, but it's also this. It's also this. It's like what Bowie's saying. You're the toothpaste in the tube. It's time to spurt yourself out and remember who you are, okay? Make a you know, dance with life, flow with life. Remember who you are. Remember the magic. Remember what you can create. Okay. Where to now? We've done shape-shifting. We've done sleeper cells. We've done the shard. Right, the next thing he said to me is that I was shown a temperature gauge, you know, like a thermometer. He said it's almost as though they can be used a bit like thermometers to gauge the temperature of Earth. And I don't mean the actual temperature, I'm talking about the energetic temperature of Earth. Okay, so, you know, where is the mercury hitting in terms of Earth's, planet Earth and her species? How happy are we? How joyful are we? How are we doing on the old evolutionary scale? And, oh, okay, he's now shown me a height chart. Those of you that have had children, do you remember when you used to put a height chart up on your wall? And, you know, when they were 5, you'd mark off how tall they were. And when they were 6, you'd done another mark. And then eventually you get to your full height, you know? And it's like you stand against it. And it's like, I'm proudly 5'9", you know, whatever you are. And you own it. You own your height. So it's like I'm being shown humanity's height. How tall are we going to grow? You know, how tall are we going to grow as a species? But equally, it's a temperature chart. How well are we doing? It's also a litmus test, I'm being told. I don't know much about litmus. A litmus paper? Let me have a look and see what that means. Litmus paper, what do you mean by that? Litmus. paper. Is it something, I think, that indicates whether something is acidic or alkaline? I think I'm right in saying that. So again, the acidity of humanity. Think about an acid tongue, okay? Oh, I had acid. I had that heartburn. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Okay, I had the acid. That's exactly what it is, a litmus test. I was feeling humanity's acid. And what that is about is not being able to digest anymore the old way, not being able to digest the way that we've been doing life, not being able to digest the unprocessed shadow of humanity, the fact that we're trampling upon each other, we're trampling over the earth, we don't care. Talking about the collective, we need to wake up. You know, you are woken up if you're watching me, but more people need to wake up. So this is it's like a litmus. I'm hearing litmus test. I'm hearing temperature. And I'm hearing like a height thing. How tall are humanity going to grow? We're going to be taller in the future as well, I'm hearing. We're going to be taller. And indeed, you can already see this in many kids now. They're much taller than, you know, previous generations. I used to think I was tall, but, you know, now when my daughters have their friends over, I'm just normal height. It's just, you know, which is great. You know, I'm really pleased, but it's, we're all going to be getting taller, definitely. We're not going to be getting smaller. We're going to be getting taller. And I'm hearing that applies to all races as well. So certain races that tend to be a little bit smaller in stature, are going to be getting taller as well. It's across the whole species. I'm also being shown the head, which is going to get more elongated like it did in Atlantis as well. So our head shape is going to get longer, which is to do with obviously greater extra sensory perception and more wiring that's needed here as well. So there's a stretching of the skull that's going on at the moment. Well, not just the moment. I mean, you know, it's been going on for a while. It doesn't mean you wake up one morning and suddenly it's like, oh. But having said that, you know, my favourite hat last year, I remember putting it on and thinking, my God, I can't get my hat on my head anymore. I literally couldn't get my hat on, and I was so unhappy because it was my favourite hat. I've never found another one that I like as much. And I was told that's what it was, and at the time I thought, really? But it was like I hadn't put enough weight on to make my head, you know, that much bigger. So let's not go into the jokes about that, but you know, it's true. Okay, it's true. Your skull shape is changing. Okay, I'm also hearing the sockets around here. There's a lot of work going on around the sockets of the eye to make room for a larger third eye here, a larger third eye. Yeah, longer neck as well, a longer neck, a slightly more pronounced skull here, taller body, a larger rib cage to encase the larger heart. When I say a larger heart, I'm talking about the energetic heart, okay, the energetic heart. Bigger feet, we're all going to look very attractive, aren't we? But the point is, you see, we're all going to look the same. You see what I did there? I went into Formism. That's exactly what I just did. I went into Formism. I was knocking how we're going to look in the future, because it's like, well, I don't want bigger feet. I don't think I want a bigger rib cage. I don't think I want a longer neck. I don't want a bigger head. But it's like, well, you know, if that's the way humanity's heading, because that's what you need to evolve, how formist are you to mock that, Amanda? Okay? Can you see? Absolutely. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you to my future self. And it's almost like I want to see that future self now in the mirror, and I look at her and I acknowledge her beauty in a different shape and a different form. It'd be quite nice if you could do that about your future self as well. If you just take a moment to imagine yourself taller. I mean, we can have a bit of a laugh as well about this, because this is also about, you know, lightening up. That's another message that Ashtar's got for us. We all need to lighten up a bit. You know, this is another reason why they're doing this. just have a look at your future self. A taller you, a broader you in terms of rib cage, maybe bigger feet, head shape is different. Your eyes are deeper in. There's something here with the sockets in the eyes. It's like they're more pronounced. Eyes are bigger as well. Oh, I see. Okay, because the eyes are going to be bigger. The eyes are going to be bigger. The third eye is going to be bigger. This is interesting. I'm seeing smaller ears. And that's interesting because as you grow older, your ears get bigger actually. But as we get older, as we evolve, I mean, we're all sort of timeless anyway, our ears get smaller. And that's because we're not using it. At the moment, human beings are all about, what did he say? What did you say? You know, what did he say? What did she say? You know, a bit of gossip, a bit of this, a bit of that, you know. And it's because it's all about what we can hear and what we can see. It's very scientific. If you can show it to me, I believe it. If I can hear it, it's fine. But in the future, you know, yes, eyes and hearing is still going to be important, but all of our other extrasensory things are going to become much more prominent. It's about how we feel. Do I feel you? I feel you. I feel you. You know, I get it. Telepathy, transportation. You know, these abilities to transform glass into fire if we wanted to in this moment. Well, that's going to take new abilities within ourselves. Okay, so, and also the smaller ears are about also, we're going to be listening more to ourselves. We're going to be because that's where the answers are. I keep saying this, that's where the answers are. Going within is where the answers are. So if you're not listening so much to everybody else, right now in 2020, as I make this, you know, we're all on social media, we're all listening to this person and that person, everyone's getting confused. You know, you're listening to this news source, that news source, they say something different. Well, what about this? What about that? No one can hear themselves think. So this ability to go more within, our ears are going to be smaller as well. So if you want to, just take a look at that future self and don't laugh at him or her. Actually, just look at them and think, wow, well done you. You made it. I love your bigger feet. I love your height. I love whatever it is. You mean, you might look different, of course. You know, I'm sure there are different strains, but that's what I'm being shown anyway. Right, where are we going now, Ashtar? The other thing he was saying to me this morning, I thought this was really, really interesting, and I need a prop here to demonstrate this. Having said that, I don't know where it is in my room. My globe. Oh, here it is. So the fact that these are going to be cropping up all over the world, because they're going to be coming up everywhere, you know, on my globe here, I've shown this many times. Sorry, the light's gone, hasn't it? Maybe I need to put a light on. Can you see? I hope you can see. Hope you can see. Grid lines. This is the grid lines on Mother Earth. So I'm being shown these are going to be popping up all over the place. Funnily enough, I just put my finger there on Asia. So there's one coming in Asia soon. India, Himalayas energy. I'm feeling the Himalayas. There's going to be something happening there. What I wrote down was girders for new earth. Any engineers out there may understand that more than I do. I just heard girders for new earth. What I saw in my mind's eye was metallic structures, which is what these monoliths are. And then it's just, imagine now there were 11, for example, of these monoliths around Earth. Just imagine you've got 11 dotted around the Earth, and obviously they're vertical, okay? And then I was being shown a template for new Earth that was sitting on top of those monoliths. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So a template for new Earth sitting on top of the metal girders. Think about engineering, think about scaffolding. Scaffolding would be another way of putting it. To build something new, you need the scaffolding. So these monoliths, vertical, sticking upright, are girders upon which the template of New Earth can sit. And then so imagine it's here, and then basically I'm just being shown that. And then this is New Earth, and then New Earth just goes like that. Okay, New Earth comes down onto it. It doesn't matter if they disappear, is what I'm hearing, because it's a bit of a gruesome analogy, but the analogy I'm being given is if you had your leg amputated today, you would still have memory of your leg being there, okay? And you would have that for years, you know? You would still feel as though you had a leg, even though you haven't got a leg. So the fact that those girders or the monoliths disappear, it doesn't matter, because the energetic imprint, the energetic imprint of that is still there, even though that is not there anymore, okay? So the girder is still there. It's energetic, it's just you can't see it. We're going back into magic and mystery. But I can't see it with my human eyes. So you can't see it with your human eyes. Can you still feel it's there? I bet you can still feel it's there. If you went to that spot, if you were an empath and somebody who's very sensitive to earth energies, you'd be able to feel it. You'd still be able to feel it's there. Okay. So can you see what I'm trying to say in this video? That this is so much more than just it was made by this person and planted there, and then this group of guys in a truck came in the middle of the night and took it away. If that's true, brilliant. That's only chapter 1 of the story. That is only chapter 1 of the story. And that doesn't even include the pre-introduction to chapter 1, which is, why did that artist think of doing it? Who told them to do it, i.e. upstairs department, Galactics, Angelics, Source, Godlight, their own higher self. And what were they trying to achieve? It's only chapter 1. So, you know, people that are just coming with, oh yeah, it's just a group of artists, you're only on chapter 1. Let's go higher. Let's read the other chapters in terms of where that story leads. I think it's fascinating. I think it's absolutely fascinating. I'd love one to appear on the beach near me. Okay. Metatron now, my guide, is saying, and so you can manifest that, Amanda. Why would you not be able to manifest that? Back to what they were saying about shape-shifting and our ability to not only be able to transform ourselves, but to be able to transform anything else, but equally materialize anything in. God, I wish I'd, read all of the stuff that I probably need to have watched to make this, but in many ways it's perfect that I haven't, because then I have the enthusiasm of a child that, finds things for the first time. Because no, I haven't watched Space Odyssey. No, I haven't read Arthur C. Clarke. No, I still haven't finished Harry Potter. No, I still haven't watched all of Star Wars, etc. The thing is, I'm an intuitive and I get the messages and I just feel into it. And this is what I am picking up with regard to this. So, you see, because what I'm being shown, and I know there's a film that would show this scene, or a book that would show this scene, is I'm just being shown us as the master magician. I'm able to create that monolith on my beach if I want to. I just am. Do I understand that at a human level? No, not at all. Not at all. Does my higher self and the 90% of me that is non-human understand it? 110%. And they're saying, just let your 10% humanness get out of the way and allow in that other 90% that can do this standing on its head, and let us go and play and do this. And if we could do that, if we could let go of just seeing ourselves as human, as Amanda, as David, as whoever, we're back to Bowie and the toothpaste tube. I do like that analogy, David. It's brilliant. And Bowie was also saying to me earlier that, these monoliths that are going to be cropping up, he's really into it. He's saying, it's going to be a bit like the new bird spotting. So it's another way of looking at it, the new bird spotting or the new crop circle spotting. It's going to be like a community that's going to grow up, a bit like the crop circles, and there are going to be people that just literally think it's two guys and a plank of wood and a piece of string, and there's other people that are going to be going deeper into it. It's your choice what you want to do, it's always your choice. But hopefully I've demonstrated in this video that there are other aspects at play here. Let's just see if either of them want to say anything else. I might just pull a card as well. So Ashtar, it's more sort of Ashtar's session, this. Metatron's just in the background. Anything else to say, Ashtar, on these monoliths? Okay, he's reminding me that they are also there to help lighten us up. We've all got so desperately serious. Do you remember that card that I showed, the Nine of Swords? You know, what this one, we've all got so, because of everything that's been going on in the world, they're not judging us, but it hasn't been the easiest year. Okay, we've all got into that energy. And so he's like, come on, we just want to have a bit of a play as well. You know, we want to play. We want to create intrigue. Lighten up. Definitely hearing the energy lighten up as a species. Okay, let's just have a final card from the Starman Tarot. Anything else to say? Okay, just the beautiful cards these. I don't know why I don't use them more often. We are bound in by our own shadow. That's the Devil card, okay? We're bound in by our own shadow. The devil isn't out there. The devil's within us. The fact that we can't, we don't want to, we self-sabotage in terms of going higher, evolving, staying in comfort zones, staying bound to a lower energy, a lack of imagination, a lack of creativity, going for the easy answer the whole time, going for just one answer the whole time, okay? Eight of Cups, we've become really disillusioned with that though, really disillusioned. You know, scratching the head there, disillusioned, it's not leading anywhere. Four of Pentacles, wanting to create a new energy, a new earth. Four of Pentacles is security and stability as well. Interesting that it's got the Oscar masks there. It's like a nod to Hollywood and the Burning Man Festival. Why am I saying that? I don't even know what the Burning Man Festival is. Maybe there's an energy around, maybe one of these is going to appear near there if it hasn't already. Okay, I'm also being, who's this? This is more Metatron now. Metatron talking about Hollywood generally, creativity, artistry, that something new needs to be served up. Something new needs to be served up. Okay. We've been fed a diet of dross, is what I'm hearing, that has dulled the human spirit. But not all dross, but you know, there has also been great stuff that's been produced which has introduced us to new worlds, whether it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., Star Trek movies, all of that. But you know, it's there's been also a lot of dross that's lowered the human spirit that's come out of the entertainment industry generally. So you know, I think that these events that happen in our world, whether it be crop circles, whether it be monoliths, they are about, you know, they're the new TV is what I'm hearing. They're the new TV. Switch off the soaps, switch off the, you know, switch off the mind-numbing stuff and get into this type of thing, you know. This will if you really tune into these type of energies and crop circles as well, and sacred geometry I'm hearing, they open up a whole new world to you, and they open up a path of true discovery. So I think that's all I'm going to say on this video. I've probably said enough. Quite interesting what came through. Wasn't expecting half of that. So I will try and summarise it in the description box. But until then, I'll have a glug of water. Quite funny that this has got Mork and Mindy on it. Robin Williams coming in at the end. Mork and Mindy. Weren't they aliens? He was an alien, wasn't he? I never watched it. Mork and Mindy? Yeah. Much love, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Interesting stuff, hey? Remember to squeeze yourself out of that tube, all right? Don't just be contained. Remember, you are more than just that 1/10 of you that identifies as human. You are so much more. Much love. Bye for now. Bye.